This is Austin from Gamma Plus Italia, and today I'm going to teach you how to zero gap, a little tutorial how to on zero gapping your absolute hitter trimmer from Gamma Plus Italia. So these do come set pretty tight from the factory. You can see it's a little dark, but where the blade is set right now. They do hit out the box. I know everyone asked that. Does it hit out the box? Does it hit out the box? It hits, but it's not zero gapped. So don't be lazy, guys. You got to zero gap your trimmers. We can't set them zero gapped fully from the factory. Not everyone is a nasty barber. We got Cosmos, hairstylists, people at home who don't need a zero gap trimmer and actually could probably cut someone with it if they don't know what they're doing, like all you sick barbers out there. So quick and easy how to zero gap it. First thing you're going to do is it does come with a little handy screwdriver, Gamma Plus Italia. Just gonna remove these screws. I got them started because you guys don't need to watch me unscrew screws. So we're just gonna finish the job and pull these out. So boom, there's one. I suggest doing this over a countertop just so you don't lose the screws because you're gonna need them again in a minute. So once the screws are out, we're gonna remove this blade head. There's a little notch in here. I suggest you probably don't use this. You can try to jimmy the blade out, but you can also scuff the housing in doing that. So there's a really easy technique. I call it the wiggle. And you're just gonna wiggle from left to right and the blade will pop right off. Sometimes, rarely, the blades are pretty stuck on. If that does happen, you're gonna remove the front housing cover, which is the same way that you would modify this, make it a skeleton, use your custom body kits. So you would pop off the front cover by removing these 3 screws. There's a separate video on that. Once the cover is off, you can definitely get the blade off if it is a little sticky. Usually not an issue. Let's check this one out. Yes, this is pretty loose. So again, I'm just wiggling from side to side. It came right off. So let's just see again how it was set. There's the set. Now to zero gap it, there's these 2 screws right here. 1, 2. You're just gonna loosen these. Do not remove them or you're gonna give yourself a lot of extra work. So just a couple little turns, I'd say maybe 2 turns, loosened, and loosened. Once they're loosened, all you're gonna do is shift the cutting blade, the moving blade, up. And it's just, I'm just holding it right on the metal moving blade. I'm just gonna push it up, and boom, it shifted right up. Of course, you wanna make sure that it doesn't go past the fixed blade. The fixed blade is the black blade. If it does go past, you're gonna most likely cut somebody. So never past, always flush or even a little bit beneath. You can pretty much push it right to the sky. It's pretty much not gonna go past. The only way it's really gonna go past is if you're not laterally set, meaning it's not perfectly even. So you don't wanna have one side higher than the other like it is now. You want the blade to be perfectly even across. So again, pretty easy, slid it right up. From here, I'm gonna hold it in place. Take my handy screwdriver and tighten the screws again. Again, 2 turns. Pretty much like to tighten it until it's hard to turn it. Don't want to over tighten it, no need to. So again, turning it until it pretty much can't turn anymore without putting too much pressure. Now from here you want to check it again because it does sometimes move during the screwing. So yes, it is still zero gapped, and if it has moved, you can either loosen the screws again, or honestly, most of the time, you can pretty much adjust it from here. You can still shift it around enough to zero gap it, even after you've retightened the screws. Now from here, you want to reassemble the blade. So there's 2 holes here, which fit into the 2 notches here. Then there are, right above the screws, these little notches. And those go into the springs, which is right here. And then right behind the springs it's called the armature. I've seen a lot of videos, people call these things all types of funky names. That moving bar is called the armature, and that's what moves the blade. So you can see that moving right now, and that is gonna go right in between this white notch here. So really, it happens pretty easily. Occasionally, it's not aligned. See right now, I'm not aligned with the armature. I'll just shift that white blade over. Everything looks pretty lined up. And then we're just gonna pop it into place, which is a little hard to do when I'm watching the camera. So bear with me here, guys. Everything looks lined up, and use a little muscle. Boom, snapped right in. So now again, you wanna check it, make sure it looks like it's running smooth, make sure that everything Still looks lined up. What I like to do here before I screw the blade back on in the back is just make sure that it's hitting the way I like it. So good test is the arm test. You can see I've been doing this a little bit, and she's hitting. She's definitely hitting. Once she's hitting, clean it off, and we're just going to put these screws right back in the back. So if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, I like to use gravity as I drop my screw. You're just going to place the screw right on your screwdriver, line it up, and boom, just tighten this bad boy back in, all the way in. And again, you don't need to over tighten these, just get them nice and tight so where they're not gonna tighten anymore. Just grabbing my other screw off the ground, which I did not lose, thank goodness. Okay, so here's the last screw. Again, just gonna use a little bit of gravity. Hold it right on my screwdriver, line it up, and screw it right in. And that's it, guys. That is how you zero gap the Absolute Hitter. Took me about 5 minutes doing a video. Really, if I wasn't doing a video, it takes about 2 minutes at home. If you guys have any issues, you can DM us, you can call us, you can email us at info@gammaplusna.com. If you really can't zero gap it, you can send it in and I will do it for you myself. I'm not a barber, not an engineer, but I can zero gap your trimmer for you if you need. That's it, guys. Any questions, let us know. Hitting it, Absolute Hitter.